Hello world, what's going on? Adam Maggio again here. What I want to do today is give you some tips, tricks, and things like that to help you get started off on your little journey here to building your bank account. But anyway, today I wanted to talk about a couple important things. One of them being money. Two of them being how to get kind of started doing what you're doing, and hopefully, making this whole thing happen. And by now, I'm hoping that you actually went through the scripts. If you haven't already, you should probably just stop this video and go back and go through those. What I want to do today is talk about some concepts to help you get out, help you get started, particularly if you're starting part-time. There's some very, very, very important things that you do need to learn. And even if you're one of those people that's just going for it all and realizes by now that because we don't specifically just work in one state, because this is all done over the web, that you can actually work a 12-hour day, even a little bit longer, all the way from East Coast time to Pacific Standard Time. And that's what's the beauty of this. This opportunity is a little bit different than most that I'm used to. Where if you have a full-time job and you come home at 5 o'clock and you have two choices, and one's to throw on the TV or the other one's to put in 3 hours, what I think you should do is put those 3 hours in and use them very effectively. Because we're on the East Coast, we can work with Pacific Standard Time and things like that. And so you kind of get the concept here. But I want to talk to you about money. I want to talk to you about some concepts that one of my mentors had talked to me about. And talk to you about some of the challenges and things like that you may face when you're starting off, particularly if you're new and you don't know much. I think you truthfully have an advantage. I'll kind of get into that in a minute, but let me just say this for what it's worth. There's a couple new skills that you're going to have to pick up from day one that every single entrepreneur that I personally know of goes through. And a couple of these skills are so important that they will make or break your entire career. And you really have two choices. One is to listen and say, you know what, Adam may be right. Or two is to not listen, fail, and then go back to working for someone who doesn't care. And what I want to do is explain to you the first one, which particularly if you have limited amounts of time, you have to become an expert at this. And everything takes a little bit of learning, but if you just kind of listen right now, you'll probably learn it. So first one being your time management. It's probably the best kept secret of not only salespeople but the rich. You see, when you really look at it, we all have just certain amounts of time in a day. I mean, that's a given, right? But in sales, particularly if you're starting off and you only have a certain amount of time, you need to be excellent at time management. And the good news is most people are only effective about 20 to 30% of their day anyway. Particularly when you look at employees, about 70% of their workday is just spent doing idle activities, literally daydreaming, sitting by a water cooler, wishing they were somewhere else, in a lunch, whatever the case may be. And when you're starting part time, you can't act like an employee. But the point being that if really you're only effective about 20 to 30% of your day, that means in about 2 to 3 hours you can technically get done just what normal people get done in a full day. And that's how come you see people that make a lot of money in a very limited amount of time. That and leverage, which I'll talk about in a couple minutes, or maybe another video, I don't know. But the fact of the matter is that you have to learn these certain skills, and when you learn them and you just get great at them, you'll be a better everything. I mean, literally everything will change, even kind of what you do outside of your money hours. And all it is really just making your schedule ahead of time. Penciling in what your work hours are going to be, but the most important thing is to honor that schedule. And what I mean by that is this: if you, in this case, this is going to be marketing time, okay? Time spent marketing, because in the beginning, your primary focus is going to be marketing to these business owners, okay? And you have to pencil in the time you're going to do this activity, and you have to honor it like you would honor your kid's soccer game, like you would honor a school play, like you would honor a doctor's appointment, okay? And when you make a schedule and you honor that schedule, everything else we're going to build around it okay, is going to work out. And the key and the reason why you got to do this is not many people watching this here are in it for small money, right? You want to make big money. Again, no income's guaranteed. I'm just throwing that out there. A lot of people think, magical money magicians exist and they just knock on your door and show up and hand you checks. They don't realize that people learn new things. But the key to it is, just definitely honor that time. But you have to value your hour, okay? And a lot of people, what I recommend doing is even pressing pause right now and saying, okay, what do I want to make per year, okay? And break that down into, the 40-hour week, however you want to do it. But roughly, if you're looking to make $100,000, okay, you're going to be valuing your time at about $50 an hour. When that time period, that time management piece, you cannot be doing $8 an hour activities. Okay, you have to be doing $50 an hour activities. What do I mean? What's an $8 activity? Sending an email. What's an $8 an hour activity? Learning. What's an $8 activity? Answering Facebook messages and things like that. The $50 activities are marketing. Okay, and you have to understand that, especially in the beginning. The only thing you have to do. You don't have to know the product. You don't have to know how it works. The only thing you have to do is play Simon Says with me. Literally read those scripts that were word for word, verbatim. Do not switch one single word. I recommend switching the words when you make more than the person that wrote those, okay? But in the beginning, your only job is to market, okay? We can train you on everything else, and there's a reason why we do it this way, and I'll get into that in a second, but you have to focus your time on marketing. Marketing's the most important thing, okay? So good time management skills, we're going to focus on marketing, and the other thing that you have to, little morning Java here, the other thing that you have to remember is not only is the marketing important, the time management important, but here's where really the winners win and the losers lose, and that's the attitude, okay, that they start taking towards their new endeavor, okay, particularly when things don't go well, and I'm big into goal setting and things like that, and I need you to do that as well, because if you don't know why you're doing this, if you don't know why you're looking for this money, okay, you're going to stop at the first time you have some negative experience. And let me tell you something, when you go from employee to sales, the negative experiences that you can face can be phenomenal, but you don't understand it, okay? The reason why you don't understand it is this, that as an employee, you're taught no, okay? If you fail 70% of your day, you get penalized. I don't even know what they do anymore, truthfully. You get reprimanded or whatever. But the reality of it is, if you fail 7 out of 10 times, you're not going to be employed too long. Well, I need you to get rid of that, and I need you to start thinking business owner, because when you're a business owner and you fail 70% of your day, if you're in sales and you fail 70% of your day, you're just like it's just like you're in sports. Okay, if you take baseball, I don't hate sports. I just really don't watch too much TV of anything. But reality of it is, when you look at baseball and people, you hear they're batting 700 or 300 rather, and you clap, they get paid millions of dollars. What they're not really telling you is that they strike out 7 out of 10 times, okay? And when you strike out 7 out of 10 times, what happens in baseball is you get paid lots of money. But the same thing in sales, if you can only strike out 70% of your day, you'll be fine. Remember, nothing's personal. It's all about how your posture is, and the better we get you at this, the more you're going to be focusing your time on quality time, not so much quantity time. Because what happens here is, as an employee, you're taught to learn and then do. So it's more like a ready, aim, fire. When in reality, in sales, it's fire, ready, aim. Okay, it means create massive action, because when you have massive action, in this case, we're going to be setting appointments with business owners. When you have massive action, you can start chiseling that down, and we could start honing those skills and using that momentum to drive you forward. But if you have no action and you're caught up in this analysis paralysis, it's just never going to work. Okay, so I want you to value your time. I want you to honor your time. Like for right now, for instance, I'm on the back porch for a number of reasons. One is it's Jersey and it's the summertime, but the other reason why I'm here is there's cleaning ladies inside, and I love it. The reason why I do it, I think that should be everyone's first goal, because you're worth more than the cleaning ladies charging you. Okay, there's nothing wrong with it. I mean, that's what they make their living doing, and they do. Some of them become business owners and end up cleaning thousands of offices, but some of them just maintain lower amounts, and that's fine too. But the reality of it is, I'm not going to do that activity because I could do something like this and just share content with you, and it's worth far more than what I'm paying for that. You get that? So that's a couple of the important things. So remember, we're going to stick to a schedule. We're going to honor that schedule. We're going to create a dollar amount that we believe we're worth. Okay, and 100 grand is a great starting point. Focus on more than that. And then what you're doing right now is a $50 activity or more. That's all you have to know. As far as reading from the scripts, a lot of people get caught up in this. They want to deviate from it. They don't want it. They want to make up their own way. All I'll tell you is what one of my mentors told me is, famous actors that have making millions of dollars that have been in business forever still read off scripts. I mean, they literally read off scripts, and there's a reason why. It's all made to trigger a response. So just stay focused with the important stuff. But let me kind of jump into the meat and potatoes of this whole thing, because I think a lot of people get caught up in when they start in sales. And this is probably one of the most important lessons I ever learned from one of my mentors. And it's really this concept of training, training versus marketing. See, a lot of people in sales feel like they need to know everything. Okay. What you need in sales is, you don't need training. Again, you need money. Okay. We have people that are going to work with you diligently and train you on the job. Remember this, training on the job. I don't care what people teach you in a classroom. Until you're out there hearing this, in this case over the web, live and in person, you're never really going to learn. Okay, most people learn on the job. Okay, if you had a doctor that was going to perform a surgery, wouldn't you want them to perform surgeries before actually did it, not reading a book? Okay, if you're getting on an airplane, wouldn't you want the pilot to have actually flown before instead of just using a simulator? Of course you would. And that's why we take this concept of learning on the job. But a lot of people, they get caught up in analysis paralysis, where they want to learn first and then do. That's not the way this works. Okay, I'm sorry, it's just not. We're going to learn as we go, but we're also going to make sure that we get that time management piece down, and make sure you have to do the most important things, and that's called marketing. Okay, because nothing happens until we set an appointment with a business owner. Once that happens, we're fine, but nothing happens until then. And a lot of associates and newer reps get caught up in this marketing versus training thing. And here's what I'm going to say to that. And I drew this little chart kind of just to show you what the first 30 days would look like. All right, 30 days right there. So if you just take your first 30 work days, what happens is there's a lot of people, and we know them, some of them, and how this kind of came about. I used to know a lot of people that would spend their days by copy machines, giving advice, and having a lot of things that they've done, but not really have generated too many sales. So we're going to focus on this little concept here. And all it is I don't know if you could see this in reverse or not, but just want to take the tale of two associates here, people that would start with us. So look, this is Associate A, right? Associate A, this is your typical sales rep when they start with any company. They like to attend all these trainings, right? And what happens is, when you attend all these trainings, they're great, but they're normally done during work hours. Go figure, right? And what happens is, during the first 30 days, if you're spending time attending a lot of training, and you look at an associate like Associate B that skips training, okay, and just focuses on marketing, something starts to happen. And Associate A, they'll know everything. These people, you see them all the time. They know every brochure inside and out. And this person generally knows a lot less. And this person, because they're spending so much time in all this training, spends very little time actually marketing, where this person just spends a ton of time marketing. So let me ask you this. In your first 30 days, okay, if you spent as Associate A all this time and only had time to set 6 appointments, this is all backwards, this is hard. So 6 appointments with business owners, okay? Associate B, because they just listen and forget about a lot of this training stuff people like to talk about, and they just focus on marketing, and they have 30 appointments set. So 6 versus 30. Who do you think is going to be more successful? Associate A or Associate B? I'm going to say Associate B, and here's why. Because Associate B has been at bat 30 times. They've had 30 opportunities to see I meetings getting run. They've had 30 opportunities to see rejections. They've had 30 opportunities to see yeses. Associate A has only had 6. 6 versus 30. Okay? Common sense tells you that if I do 30 I meetings with you versus 6 I meetings with you, it's going to be a little bit different. Okay? Associate B had 30 appointments. Now let me ask you a question. Who's better trained, Associate A or Associate B? Well, if Associate A has only spent 6 appointments and the rest of the time reading brochures, and Associate B's actually ran 30 appointments, I'm going to make the argument for Associate B. Okay? But let's get back to the reason why we're here, because Associate B is better trained. Let me ask you this. If you had to have that second meeting ran, would you rather Associate A run it or Associate B run it? The reason why I would have Associate B run it is because there's probably a leaderboard and Associate B is on that leaderboard, okay? Associate A is not. I don't care what they've done here. I care about the real life stuff. But the question becomes back to this. All right, Adam, we get your concept. Associate A attends all this training. Associate B skips. Yes, they're better trained. My question to you is, who makes more money? I'll see you at the bank.